Prime Minister, I'm sure that, like many people, you're looking forward to jetting off on holiday. We even understand you were quite keen to get away early. Obviously, one of the things happens is that people, when they come back from their holidays, they want to book their flights for next year, and at the moment that's looking very uncertain. Last autumn, the Secretary of State was confident that the government would have made clear progress by this summer on aviation, but we've yet to see anything concrete. How close are we to having the necessary post-Brexit aviation arrangements in place to retain access to the EU's single aviation market?
Well, as we've set out in the White Paper, we want to, as part of the future relationship, explore options that would enable the UK to continue to participate in EASA as a non-EU member state. We're moving at pace in terms of negotiations, as I've said, in relation to the future framework, because we want that to be sufficiently complete by the autumn of this year. Not legal text, obviously full legal text to follow thereafter. We believe that what is in this white paper is the right package we can put forward. As I've said, what the Department of Transport are also doing are looking at what would happen in a no-deal scenario and what arrangements would need to be placed in a no-deal scenario in order to ensure that
grounded planes are in no one's interest.
No,
we were told
exactly.
They're very unlikely. So you've said now potentially autumn, and I know, does autumn mean September? Does it mean October? Does it mean November? Does it mean December? What's holding up progress on a deal on this vital area?
Well, it's going to be part of the future relationship. The future relationship has been put, which we published in the White Paper, has been put to the European Union. We've started having discussions with the European Union on the basis of that future relationship. The timetable that everybody is working to is to have that future relationship agreed in sufficient detail by October, such that when this Parliament looks at withdrawal agreement and implementation bill, it will know what the details of the future relationship will be. That's the timetable that we're working to.
The Secretary of State confirmed that the aviation industry would need comfort that we're making progress by next summer, last October, he told us that. When it was this summer, well, we're well into summer. Shouldn't we have had some of those things nailed down by now?
Well, as I say, the Department of Transport is working with the aviation industry to ensure that the necessary arrangements will be in place. We have made a specific proposal in here about EASA and participation in EASA as part of the future relationship, and that future relationship is being negotiated, as I said, with that timetable that was set of October. It is, as you say, it's in everybody's interest to ensure that the planes can still fly. I think that's not just in our interest, it's in the interests of others in the EU 27.
Progress by summer, and now you're saying that's slipped to the autumn.
No, I'm not saying that that progress has slipped to the autumn. I'm saying this is an ongoing negotiation in a variety of levels. The future relationship is being negotiated with the European Commission with a view to that agreement by October. The Department of Transport have also been discussing with a number of countries the arrangements that could be put in place if there is no agreement on a multilateral basis with the United Kingdom for those proposals, to ensure that whatever the outcome is, that the planes can still fly.
So are we in negotiations on bilateral agreements with each of the 27 EU countries, in addition to other international bodies?
We're in discussion where it is necessary to be in discussion to ensure that if there is no deal, this is part of no deal preparations, that the planes can fly. But if there is, what we're proposing here is an arrangement that would enable that to continue to happen in the circumstances in which we have a deal, as part of the deal. Alongside that, I mean, it's not just the Department of Transport, obviously the Civil Aviation Authority is also working with the aviation sector. It's making the preparations that are necessary for it. Obviously, we propose participation in EASA, but it's also making the preparations necessary were it to be the case that it had to operate outside EASA.
Okay. Why hasn't the government got on and struck a good aviation deal with the US, with some concessions if necessary, to leverage progress with the EU and provide some certainty to the airline industry and passengers? Are there sticking points in negotiations with the United States, and if so, what's holding up progress on the deal with the US on open skies?
We've had a number of rounds of negotiations with the United States on this issue. We're confident that we will be reaching an agreement with them.
And when are we expecting? Wouldn't it have been good to have got that deal in place in order to put more pressure on the EU to reach agreement about the UK-EU arrangements?
We will conduct the negotiations and put the arrangements in place when they need to be put in place.
So does that mean that people, when they come back from their holiday, perhaps in a few weeks' time, they're going to be buying flights, or they might be thinking about booking next year's holiday, and they really don't know whether those flights will operate or not, whether there'll be any arrangement in place to give them the certainty about booking their holiday?
Well, there are, as you will recall, first of all, we do look at what is going to be in place post-March 2019, but of course we also have an implementation period up to the end of December 2020. And we are looking to the relationship that will be in place at the end of that implementation period. Some things could be put in place at an earlier stage within that implementation period. The Department of Transport is working with the aviation sector, with governments within and outside the European Union, and also, as we've put forward, this is for a negotiation with the EU27 collectively. We think that's the right way forward with the deal, but we're making the preparations necessary to ensure that whatever the circumstances, whatever happens in terms of the outcome of the negotiations, we still have those arrangements for planes to fly.
So book your flight at your own risk, I think. Thank you.